Welcome, Age of Vintage Society. Known among aficionados as the Queen of Film Noir, Claire Trevor could play any number of heroines, but she proved particularly suited to the shadowy world of crime and mystery, showcased in numerous films in the 1940s and 50s. Why Claire Trevor never became a top star. Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. Claire Trevor will be remembered mainly for playing blondes with tough exteriors that hid her vulnerability. In her best films, she was not only a woman who had kicked around the world, but who had been kicked around by the world. While not as glamorous as the most prominent actresses of the time, the husky-voiced blonde still captivated through force of character and the sincerity she brought to much of her work. Following some stage assignments and a few undistinguished programmers, Trevor gained her first significant industry attention via an Oscar-nominated performance in Dead End. However, it was John Ford's superb Western Stagecoach that really put Trevor on the map, and she enjoyed lead roles in several major productions during the years that followed. Claire Trevor is best remembered as the alluring blonde femme fatale in such iconic noir films as Murder, My Sweet and Raw Deal. Yet she was a versatile performer who brought rare emotional depth to her art. She was effective in a range of diverse roles, from an outcast woman in John Ford's classic Stagecoach, to the ambitious tennis mother in Hard, Fast and Beautiful, to the embittered wife of a landowner in William Wellman's overlooked gem, My Man and I. Nominated for 3 Oscars, she deservedly won Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal of Gay Dawn, a gangster's broken-down mole in Key Largo. Key Largo established Trevor as one of its premier players, and she excelled as both determined heroines and debased antagonists. It also brought Trevor her only Academy Award, and the powerful work she did in that John Huston classic as a deglamorized, desperate alcoholic provided a potent demonstration of her value as a character actress. Later regarded by some as more of a cult actress than a true golden age movie star, Trevor's filmography contained many persuasive examples of her versatility, which also extended to her stage and television assignments. Trevor's acting career spanned more than 7 decades and included successes in stage, radio, television and film. She often played the hard-boiled blonde and every conceivable type of bad girl role. Claire Trevor was the quintessential hard-bitten floozy with a heart of gold, whose on-screen persona was typified by her portrayals of nearly every conceivable type of bad girl, from hooker to gun mole. While her busy film career spanned a half-century and consisted of more than 60 movies, Trevor was inexplicably relegated to mostly supporting roles in primarily B-movies. But this husky-voiced performer possessed a talent that could not be denied, and, perhaps more than any other actress, she represented the classic film noir femme in many pictures from the era. She was the actress perhaps best known for such floozy roles, as well as for being a more heartless femme fatale. The gifted actress with the brassy blonde locks was born Claire Wemlinger on March 8th. Sources disagree as to whether she entered the world in 1910 or 1912. The actress proclaimed, "I'm 83 and I don't care who knows it," which would make 1909 the correct year. This discrepancy notwithstanding, Claire was born into a life of comfort, the only child of Edith Morrison Wemlinger, a native of Belfast, Ireland, and her Paris-born husband, Noel B. Wemlinger, who owned a successful custom tailoring business on Fifth Avenue. Soon after Claire's birth, the family moved from Bensonhurst, Long Island, to suburban Larchmont, New York. Claire's first acting experience came during her high school years in nearby Mamaroneck, but expressing a sentiment that would come to characterize her Hollywood career, the actress said that she appeared in school and church plays just for fun. Rather than drama, Claire's interests were focused on drawing and painting, in which she'd shown early promise, and after high school she took art courses at Columbia University. Before long, however, she decided to enroll with a close friend at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, quickly finding that she enjoyed the challenge of studying diction, memorising lines and responding to new stimuli. But she only stayed at the academy for the first 6 months of the school term. The second half is when you do all the Shakespearean plays. Instead of doing that, I felt that if I got out and worked and got a job, I'd learn more, and that is what she did. Her first order of business was changing the rather ungainly last name of Wemlinger. While driving one day to make the rounds at the offices of Broadway agents, Claire was inspired. There was a sign along the way, Sinclair Oil. I decided to call myself Claire Sinclair. Then I started using Claire St. Clair. Later, I was in some agent's office and he took a telephone book and put his finger down randomly on a page, and it was Trevor. After playing a number of bit roles in stock companies, Trevor finally landed a job in the summer of 1929 with Robert Henderson's Repertory Players at the annual theatre festival in Ann Arbor, Michigan. While with the company, she was seen as a member of the Greek chorus in Antigone, followed by a minor role in Lady Windermere's Fan, and a slightly larger part as Nina in Chekhov's The Seagull. She sharpened her skills further by alternating between parts in short films and repertory work in various productions. After the run of The Seagull, Trevor returned to New York and was cast by a Warner Brothers talent scout in a series of Vitaphone shorts being filmed at Warner Studios in Flatbush. She was next employed by Warner's stock company in St. Louis, where, along with the future film actress Lyle Talbot and Wallace Ford, she appeared in a new show each week. In the summer of 1931, Trevor was the leading ingenue of the Hampton Players in Southampton, Long Island. The actress earned $5 a week, plus room and board, and the company split the profits at the end of the season. "We all did everything, even made the scenery," Trevor said, "and it was one of the best summers I ever had in my life. It was fabulous." While appearing with the Hampton Players, Trevor was spotted by producer Alexander McCaig. He cast her opposite Edward Arnold in Whistling in the Dark, her Broadway debut. The show was a smash hit, running a year on Broadway and later going on tour. While performing in Los Angeles, Trevor was courted by several studios. Fox Studios offered her a 5-year contract. She quickly accepted. Trevor arrived in Hollywood. "My father was so strict he insisted that my mother accompany me to Hollywood and live with me there," the actress said. Well, she was ready for anything. She was full of Irish humour and love and excitement. She adored being on the set. When we had to work until 2 or 3 in the morning, she was thrilled. It was a party. After only 2 days in Hollywood, Trevor was cast in the female lead in Life in the Raw, a western starring George O'Brien, followed by another O'Brien starer, The Last Trail, and The Mad Game with Spencer Tracy. She later said that her co-star was very, very impressed by me. "This sounds braggadocio, but it was the truth. He liked the way I delivered lines, tossed my lines away. He really liked my style." From 1933 to 1938, Trevor starred in 29 films, often having either the lead role or the role of the heroine. In 1937, she was the second lead actress, after top-billed Sylvia Sidney, in Dead End, playing opposite Humphrey Bogart, which led to her nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Trevor worked almost non-stop in 20 films, most of which were fast-paced action melodramas for Fox that rounded off a double bill, earning her the title of Queen of the Bees. Still, Trevor's home studio failed to capitalise on the newfound respect generated by her Oscar nomination. "That was kind of disappointing to me," she said. "I thought maybe now I can get into A pictures." Because Dead End was an A picture, a very big picture. Instead, she was immediately cast in 2 low-budget quickies, Big Town Girl, in which she portrayed a showgirl who becomes a singing sensation. She later said that studio head Darrell F. Zanuck never had faith in me. Why, I don't know. The point is, however, that if he hadn't confidence in a player, said player must just as well up and leave at the outset, and that's what I did. However, while Trevor's performance in Dead End failed to make an impact at Fox, it did lead to her casting in a new CBS radio series called Big Town, which starred Edward G. Robinson as a crusading newspaper editor. Trevor was cast in the show as Lorelei, the editor's girl Friday. Although the show was an instant hit, Trevor would quit after 3 years because Robinson, who had script control, was reportedly cutting the actress's part in order to boost his own. Still, Trevor gained something other than increased fame and income from her work on the series. In July 1938, she married the show's producer, Clark Andrews. By 1942, however, the marriage was over. After ending her association with Fox, Trevor appeared as a dual fence in Warner Brothers movies. By 1939, she was well established as a solid leading lady. Some of her most memorable performances during this period were opposite John Wayne, including the classic 1939 western Stagecoach, which was Wayne's breakthrough role. Receiving rave reviews for her performance, Trevor would later attribute her success in the film to the coaching of legendary director John Ford. On the set one day, the actress recalled, Ford took Duke Wayne's chin and yanked it in front of 200 people. He said, "Duke, what are you doing? With your chin, with your mouth. Acting is in the eyes." I never forgot that. Wayne tolerated the rough treatment and rose to the challenge, reaching a new plateau as an actor. Ford helped cement the impression that Wayne makes in the film by giving him plenty of expressive reaction shots throughout the picture. Claire Trevor was the highest paid cast member at $15,000. John Wayne got a grand total of $3,700, less than supporting player Tim Holt, who got $5,000. Naturally, her role in Stagecoach often led to stereotyping in westerns, but one of her most notable achievements in this genre was playing the title role in The Woman of the Town, that allowed her to bring some subtle variations into a stock character by portraying the positive influence on Bat Masterson as she persuaded him to renounce violence and move into his later journalist career. In 1941, Trevor made two westerns, Texas, an agreeable horse opera that successfully combined action and comedy, and Honky Tonk, starring Clark Gable and Lana Turner. During the 1930s, Trevor projected an independence that matched the growing demands of women in society by having a warmth and naturalness that made her seem real to audiences, unlike the remote Garbo, Dietrich and Hepburn. She was also the well-dressed woman of the era, whether on or off-screen, often contributing to costume design on her various films and endorsing many products in magazines. But the actress's career took a back seat to her personal life in 1943 when she married Lieutenant Silos William Dunsmore. The following year, on December 1st, 1944, Trevor gave birth to a son, Charles Silos, realizing one of her greatest ambitions. "From childhood on, I wanted children," she said in a 1982 interview. "Even babies in strangers' baby carriages appealed to me. If the maternal part of my nature hadn't been satisfied, I'd have felt like a failure in life. I consider myself lucky." Like her first union, however, Trevor's marriage to Dunsmore would not last. The couple divorced in 1946, with Trevor charging her husband with being morose and sulky, failing to seek employment after leaving the service, and using profanity. Trevor was granted custody of their son, but tragically, Charles would die at the age of 34 in a 1978 commercial airplane crash. After an absence from films of more than a year, Trevor returned to the big screen with a bang in a series of film noirs. Trevor's next film noir, Johnny Angel, reunited her with George Raft, her co-star in I Stole a Million. Considered a second echelon effort by RKO, Johnny Angel proved to be a surprise hit, totting up a box office take of $1,192,000. Next, continuing her spate of appearances in first-rate film noirs like Raw Deal. After her appearance in the film, Trevor made another try at matrimony, this time with realtor and sometime movie producer Milton Bren. It appeared that, for the actress, the third time was the charm. In an interview, a neighbour of the couple claimed that their union was one of Hollywood's truly good marriages. I mean, they shared the sea, the kids, parties, travel. On their last boat they must have travelled 50,000 miles. Milton used to say that Claire was the most intellectual person he ever met. The couple had one son, Peter, and remained married until Bren's death in 1978. Trevor's last appearance was in a 1987 television movie, Breaking Home Ties, and the actress has since devoted much of her time renewing her love for painting. To me, acting and painting are closely related. You need imagination for both. I don't know how good the paintings are, nor do I care. I'm filling my hours with pleasure, and you can't take that away. Painting is a lot cheaper than going to a psychiatrist. In retirement, Trevor devoted much time to the University of California, Irvine's School of the Arts, where she acted as a mentor for students and was an advocate of the school's goals. Trevor died as a result of respiratory failure on April 8, 2000, a month after her 90th birthday. Claire Trevor was one of the few actresses whose seemingly effortless talent made most viewers take her for granted, while film buffs cherished her. Looking back, she concluded that she never became a top star because she lacked the drive that energizes them. "I didn't know," she said, "that to make a real career in Hollywood, you have to become a personality, have to cultivate publicity departments, and become known as the ear or even the toe." Although she was most often associated with the numerous B-movies in which she appeared, Claire Trevor was much more than a B-movie actress. Her innate talent was perhaps best summed up by Robert Wise, her director in Born to Kill, when he said, "She was a fine actress and a lady of quality. Although she didn't attain the big star name of some others in that period, she certainly deserved to be a big star from an acting standpoint." If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Now it is your turn. What do you think about the life and legacy of Claire Trevor?